The breaking point. The Archean Empire's first mistake was assuming that humanity would break like all the others. Their second mistake was giving us enough time to prove them wrong. When their ships darkened Earth's skies in 2157, humanity reacted exactly as their tactical simulations predicted, with panic, chaos, and desperate resistance. Our most powerful weapons barely scratched their shields. Our armies fell before their advanced weaponry. Our cities burned under their orbital bombardment. Everything went according to their carefully calculated plan, but they had never encountered a species quite like us before. The Archons were used to quick surrenders, to species that would accept subjugation rather than face annihilation. They expected humans to realize the futility of resistance and submit to their rule within weeks. Instead, they found themselves locked in a grinding war of attrition that stretched from months into years. Each time they leveled a city, survivors would emerge from the ruins to continue fighting. When they deployed their biomechanical horrors to hunt down resistance cells, humans learned to create elaborate traps and ambushes. Their energy weapons could vaporize a human soldier in an instant, but they couldn't eliminate our will to resist. Your species is irrational, the Archean Supreme Commander declared during one of their planetary broadcasts. You fight when you cannot win. You resist when submission would spare you such suffering. Why do you persist in this futile defiance? The response came in the form of a tactical nuclear device detonated in the middle of their largest ground base. The resistance cell responsible had sacrificed themselves to smuggle the weapon past their scanners, hidden in the bodies of their own dead. The Archons had never encountered such determination before, such willingness for self-sacrifice in service of a greater victory. But it was their third and final mistake that would prove fatal. They underestimated humanity's capacity for learning and adaptation. With each engagement, we studied their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses. Every crashed ship and fallen soldier became a source of invaluable intelligence. Underground laboratories worked tirelessly to understand and reverse engineer their advanced technology. The Archons noticed too late that their primitive opponents were gradually becoming more dangerous. Human weapons began penetrating their shields. Our tactics evolved to counter their strategic algorithms. What started as a simple conquest was becoming an increasingly costly war of attrition. The breaking point came during the Battle of Mumbai. The Archons deployed their newest weapon, a massive walking fortress they called a world breaker. It was meant to be an unstoppable symbol of their technological superiority. Instead, it became the symbol of their greatest failure. A coalition of resistance fighters from across the globe had prepared for this moment. As the world breaker began its march of destruction, they put into action a plan that seemed suicidal, until it worked. Makeshift EMP devices, based on reversed engineered Archean tech, disrupted its shields. Salvaged alien explosives breached its armor. And in a final act of desperate ingenuity, resistance fighters used grappling equipment cobbled together from civilian construction gear to scale the massive war machine. The Archons watched in disbelief as humans swarmed over their ultimate weapon like ants, burning through its hull with plasma torches stolen from their own forces. The world breaker's fall shook the earth for kilometers around. But the thunderous crash was nothing compared to the roar of hope that went up from every human resistance cell across the planet. The message was clear. Humanity would not break. We would adapt, overcome, and find a way to victory no matter the cost. The Archons had wanted to make an example of Earth. Instead, they had given humanity the motivation and means to become something far more dangerous than they could have imagined. As the Resistance recovered vital data cores from the World Breaker's wreckage, the first seeds of humanity's eventual rise to galactic power were planted. The Archons had meant to break us. Instead, they had forged us into something stronger than ever before: salvage and spite. The underground bunkers that had once been humanity's last refuge became our crucibles of innovation. Every piece of alien technology we salvaged, every scrap of data we decoded, brought us one step closer to turning the tide. The Archons had no idea that their primitive opponents were about to leapfrog centuries of technological development, using their own weapons against them. Our greatest advantage was something the Archons couldn't comprehend: human creativity unconstrained by their rigid technological doctrine. Where they saw their technology as finished products to be used according to strict protocols, we saw raw materials that could be taken apart, recombined, and repurposed in ways they never imagined. Dr. Sarah Chen led the team that cracked the secret of their shield technology. The Archons think in straight lines. She explained to the Resistance leadership. Their shields are perfectly calibrated against their own weapons, designed to resist specific frequencies and attack patterns. But they never considered someone might modify their technology to work in ways it wasn't meant to. The breakthrough came from an unlikely source: a salvaged entertainment device found in an Archean officer's quarters. The quantum harmonics used to generate their holographic displays operated on similar principles to their shield technology. Dr. Chen's team discovered that by overloading these entertainment units in a specific way, they could create localized disruptions in Archean shields. What followed was a worldwide effort to collect and modify every piece of Archean technology we could get our hands on. Civilian engineers and scientists worked alongside military personnel, combining human ingenuity with alien advanced technology. Entertainment devices became shield breakers. Medical scanners were converted into targeting systems. Even their food synthesizers provided insights into manipulating matter at the molecular level. The Archons remained oblivious to the extent of our technological development. Their orbital surveillance showed only the surface devastation, the ruins of our cities. They had no idea that beneath the rubble, humanity was building something unprecedented: a hybrid technology that combined their advanced science with human adaptability and innovation. Base Alpha, hidden deep beneath the Himalayas, became our primary research and development facility. Here, resistance fighters trained with prototype weapons, while scientists and engineers worked to unlock more of the Archons' technological secrets. The facility's walls were lined with salvaged Archean computer cores, each one containing precious data about their technology and tactical protocols. But our greatest discovery came from analyzing their communication systems. Dr. James Okonjo, a formerly obscure computer scientist from Nigeria, discovered that the Archons' faster-than-light communication network had a fundamental vulnerability. Their quantum entanglement protocols were rigidly structured, designed for efficiency rather than security. They never expected anyone to be able to intercept or manipulate their communications, Dr. Okonjo reported. Their entire empire relies on absolute control of this technology. But we found a way to not just listen in, but potentially hijack their entire network. This discovery would prove to be the key to our eventual victory. But first we had to survive. The Archons were growing frustrated with their inability to completely subjugate Earth. Their attacks became more frequent, more devastating. But with each assault, we gathered more salvage, more data, more opportunities to develop our hybrid technology. In hidden facilities across the globe, human engineers worked tirelessly to integrate our innovations. Resistance fighters learned to use weapons that combined Archean energy technology with human tactical flexibility. Our communication systems piggybacked on their quantum network, allowing resistance cells to coordinate on a global scale while remaining invisible to Archean detection. The Archons never understood why they couldn't crush the last pockets of human resistance. Their tactical algorithms couldn't account for the rapid pace of our technological adaptation. They couldn't comprehend how their own technology was being turned against them in ways their rigid thinking had never considered. But they were about to learn. After years of salvage, research, and preparation, humanity was ready to show the galaxy what happens when you give humans the tools and motivation to overcome their limitations. The Archons had wanted to break our spirit. Instead, they had given us the means to break their empire. The first strike back. The day humanity launched its first coordinated counterattack against the Archons became known as Reversal Day. Years of preparation, countless sacrifices, and the combined technological innovations of our entire species had led to this moment. The Archons were about to learn that they had created their own worst nightmare. Operation Thunderclap began with something unprecedented. total silence across their quantum communication network. Dr. Okonjo's team had finally perfected their method of disrupting the Archon's FTL communications. For the first time in their empire's history, their forces were cut off from central command. The Archon's rigid command structure proved to be their greatest weakness. Without constant updates from their tactical computers and strategic AI, their forces fell into confusion. They had never developed the ability to adapt and make decisions independently the way humans have been forced to. Resistance forces struck simultaneously at key Archon installations across the globe. Our hybrid weapons, combinations of salvaged Archon technology and human engineering, proved devastatingly effective. Their shields, calibrated to defend against their own standardized weapons, failed against our modified attack patterns. The sight of their supposedly invincible warships falling from the sky became a symbol of hope for every surviving human. Each victory provided us with more salvage, more technology to adapt and repurpose. The Archons found themselves caught in a spiral of escalating losses as every defeated force made us stronger. But the true masterstroke came from Dr. Chen's team. They had discovered that the Archon's biomechanical enhancement technology, which they used to create their fearsome shock troops, could be modified to work with human physiology. The first volunteers for the procedure became our elite strike forces, combining enhanced physical capabilities with human creativity and tactical flexibility. The Archons had never faced anything like our enhanced soldiers. Their tactical computers couldn't predict the actions of troops who combined superhuman capabilities with human unpredictability. Their rigid battle formations broke against our adaptive strike teams. Most devastating of all was our hijacking of their own automated defense systems. Resistance hackers, led by a teenager named Miguel Santos who had learned to code on salvaged Archon computers, found a way to turn their automated turrets and defense drones against them. The Archons watched in horror as their own security systems began targeting their forces. The Battle of Sydney became the turning point. The Archons committed massive forces to defend their South Pacific Command Center, expecting another guerrilla attack. Instead, they faced the full might of humanity's new capabilities. Enhanced strike teams disrupted their formations. Hybrid weapons tore through their defenses. Reprogrammed security systems trapped them in their own fortifications. For the first time, the Archons were forced to retreat from a major engagement. The sight of their ships fleeing Earth's atmosphere sparked celebrations in every resistance stronghold. But humanity's military leadership knew this was just the beginning. We had proven we could defeat the Archons in open battle, but driving them from Earth wouldn't be enough. The data cores captured at Sydney contained something invaluable: complete technical specifications for Archon starships. Dr. Chen's team immediately began working to adapt their FTL drive technology for human use. The Archons had given us access to the stars in their attempt to conquer us, and we were about to show them the consequences of their mistake. Rising through the ranks. Humanity's expansion into space marked the beginning of a new era in galactic politics. The Archons had never expected us to master their technology so quickly, let alone improve upon it. Our first FTL-capable ships, hybrid vessels that combined Archon tech with human innovation, took them completely by surprise. We discovered something shocking as we pushed beyond our solar system. Earth wasn't the only world suffering under Archon dominion. Their empire spanned thousands of systems, and in each one, they maintained their power through technological superiority and rigid control. But they had never faced a species that could match their technology while operating outside their predictable patterns. The Kythera were the first to ally with us, an avian species whose homeworld had been under Archon control for centuries. They saw in humanity a chance for liberation. Their natural talent for spatial reasoning and navigation made them invaluable partners as we expanded our fleet. Human engineers worked alongside Kythera technicians, combining their deep understanding of Archon tech with our talent for innovation. Other subjugated species soon followed. The silicon-based Meridians provided unprecedented insights into Archon computer systems. The Voss, despite their naturally peaceful nature, proved to be brilliant strategists when shown alternatives to the Archon's rigid tactical doctrine. Each new ally brought unique perspectives and capabilities to what was becoming known as the Liberation Front. The Archons found themselves facing an unprecedented threat, an alliance of species combining advanced technology with tactical flexibility and creativity. Their attempts to predict and counter our movements failed because we never followed the same pattern twice. Each victory brought more allies to our cause, more resources to our arsenal, more diversity to our strategies. Our greatest victory came at the Battle of Arcturus. The Archons committed a third of their total military forces to defend this vital hub of their FTL communication network. They expected us to follow standard tactical protocols for attacking such a heavily defended position. Instead, they faced something unprecedented in galactic warfare. Human-enhanced soldiers fought alongside Kith-era aerial strike teams. Meridian cyber warfare suites, modified by human programmers, wreaked havoc on their command and control systems. Voss strategists coordinated the entire operation, their plans amplified by human tactical improvisation. The Archon's mighty fleet found itself split, scattered, and systematically destroyed by forces they couldn't predict or counter. The fall of Arcturus shattered the Archon's aura of invincibility. Dozens of subjugated species rose up against their rule, many of them adopting our hybrid technology and tactical doctrines. The rigid structure of their empire began to crack as they lost system after system to the Liberation Front. The New Order. The final battle for the Archon homeworld marked the end of an era in galactic history. Their mighty citadels, designed to be impregnable, fell before the combined might of a dozen liberated species led by humanity. The Archon leadership, faced with total defeat, expected to be treated with the same cruelty they had shown to others. Instead, they witnessed something unprecedented. Humanity, now the dominant military power in known space, chose a different path. Rather than establish our own empire, we proposed the formation of the Galactic Concordat, an alliance of equals where each species could contribute their unique strengths and perspectives. The Archons were not excluded from this new order, though their military power was dismantled. Their technological expertise was valuable, and many of their younger generation had already begun questioning the rigid doctrines of their elders. Under the influence of other species, particularly humans, they slowly began to develop creativity and adaptability. Humanity's role in this new galactic society was unique. We became known as innovators, problem solvers, and mediators. Our ability to adapt and combine different approaches proved invaluable in helping diverse species work together. The hybrid technology we had developed during the Liberation War became the foundation for a new era of galactic civilization. The great universities of Earth became centers of learning for species from across known space. The sight of Kith-era studying alongside humans, or Meridian researchers collaborating with our scientists, became commonplace. Our enhancement technology, refined through cooperation with multiple species, allowed individuals to overcome their natural limitations while maintaining their unique characteristics. Perhaps most importantly, humanity's example showed the galaxy a different way forward. The Archons had believed that strict control and technological superiority were the only paths to power. We proved that true strength comes from diversity, adaptation, and cooperation. A century after the formation of the Concordat, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. Hybrid technologies and combined cultural perspectives led to achievements that no single species could have managed alone. The rigid hierarchies and technological stagnation of the Archon era were replaced by continuous innovation and cultural exchange. Humanity had risen from near extinction to become not just a powerful species, but a catalyst for positive change throughout known space. We had taken the tools meant to subjugate us and used them to forge something greater, a galactic civilization where strength came from unity rather than dominance. The Archons had tried to break humanity's spirit. Instead, they had sparked a transformation that would reshape the galaxy itself. Our stubborn refusal to submit, our ability to adapt and innovate, and ultimately our choice to rise above the cycle of domination, became our greatest legacy to galactic civilization. As new species join the Concordat and our understanding of the universe continues to expand, humanity remains at the forefront of exploration and innovation. We face the future not as conquerors or subjects, but as part of something greater than ourselves, a diverse, adaptive, and ever-evolving galactic society.